Hello, friends. Welcome to Think Out Loud with me, a chatcast produced, hosted, and humbly offered by yours truly, Natalie P. from my neck of the woods. Actually, today it's neck of the desert. To you in yours. You got the memo, right? There's a universally accepted, irrevocable license to be curious held by every single one of us, and I'm using it to engage others in constructive and enlightening conversation. After too many years of internal chatter, wondering, and physical and mental close calls, I'm ready to think out loud with you. Perhaps in my own search for clarity, connection, community, and ultimately congruence, I can help you find your voice, ignite your curiosity, nudge you even just an itsy bitsy teeny weeny bit in your own favor. I would really like that. I'd like that a lot. You're tuning into episode 8 of Think Out Loud with me. Holy shit, I'm going to geek out on y'all. For most of my career, I've been in the business of helping brands and people and issues build celebrity. And in the process, I've met a few well-known folks. Cool. This episode, though, this episode has me meeting someone I've been eyeballing, and I'm not going to lie, I've been kind of drooling over and fascinated with since I moved to town. And I've gotten involved with the founders of Horsetooth International Film Festival. It's an annual gathering in September that has grown to hit some significant radars. The producers and the directors and actors and crew and creatives and ops folks that are flocking to the festival and the business of filmmaking in Northern Colorado are unfrickin' believable, and unfrickin' believable like today's guest. Andrea Dratch, she is an award-winning actor and producer known for her role as Lita in the award-winning feature film Town Remedies, written and directed by R.W. Perkins, that was released in 2020 that she co-produced. She also played Minnie Edwards in Crash and Burn Stories, a feature film released in 2016. Andrea is I'm not saying your name right, sweetheart. Andrea is part owner. I have so many Andreas in my life, and she's part owner, along with award-winning director, writer, R.W. Perkins, and award-winning cinematographer and photographer Andy Carrasco of Film Locale, a production house based in Northern Colorado. She calls Loveland home, where she's joining me today. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. Andrea, say hi to my listeners and get us started. Let's think out loud together. Hi.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I have been looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to meeting you. And even though it's through a screen, someday, we will meet each other in person.
I'll get up to her.
I'm really excited. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Hey, tell me, let's cut to the chase. How does someone of your caliber and your craft, you're an actor and a producer and a filmmaker, how do you practice mental fitness? Let's just get to the ditty of this.
So, I would, in my current life and the lifestyle that I am living, which is a very scattered lifestyle, I chose it. I've chose this lifestyle. I'm a mom, a wife, an actor, producer, a spokesperson. I also am a social media marketing director. I do a lot of, I'm an ordained minister because I also perform wedding ceremonies. But I have a lot of different things that I do. And I know the joke's out there. It's like I dumped the 9-to-5 to work the 24/7. And I think that people who are actually living that lifestyle are like, yes, because I actually have to remind myself at night, someone's calling me from work, and it's 6:15 and I almost answer it. And I'm just lately, just, nope, I have to set boundaries for myself. So a few years ago, I was not practicing very good mental health strategies. And I would say that just over probably about the last 3 years, I have really been working on just staying calm. I've been I've been listening to books. My favorite one right now is The Untethered Soul by Michael Allen Singer. Have you heard of that before?
Not yet.
So that's a crazy story how I was told to read or listen to that book. But yeah. It's very interesting. And so just like I'm in the middle of still every day getting myself to where I need to be mentally, letting things go, not caring what people think, being myself, finding the little girl in me who was, you know, the first moment that that person knew, I want to be an actor, I want to entertain people, I want to make films, I want to do this. And just getting back to that person, because I had a lot of interruptions in my life between the time of being little and then going off to college, studying film, and ending up in New York City studying acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and then moving back to Colorado, where I'm from, but kind of losing myself I was young, and I, was back around friends and family and my husband now, my high school boyfriend. And I got myself into a bad rhythm of drinking. I had
Who
Thursdays
does
and Fridays,
that? Bad rhythms
right?
of drinking.
Right. And so I had Thursdays off, and I worked Saturday and Sunday. So in my mind, my weekend was Thursday, Friday, and the rest of the world's weekend was Saturday, Sunday. And I'm really not making excuses, but this was the beginning of when I could always drink a lot in college, but it really threw me into this bad rhythm of then drinking 4 nights a week, because it was Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I didn't even realize, I knew I could drink a lot because people would praise me for it, but I didn't realize that, like, slowly my consumption of alcohol was literally turning into 4 days a week. And then it was turning into 5 days a week. And then it was 6 days a week. And I just was like, oh, I can't wait till 5 o'clock. I mean, you see it all over social media, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And people, the latest one I saw was someone sitting around the wine glass looking at their time for when it's 5 o'clock. And I'm like, in my mind, just thinking, holy shit, these people that are living their lives that way don't even realize, like, that time, I know it's a joke, but not that time that you might not be sitting just staring at your wine glass, but the time that you spend mentally thinking about when you get to have a drink, which probably starts for me, it started literally in the morning. Yeah. And I was like, I have to stay sober. I have to go to work, but I know I get a drink right after work, and I'm going to try to leave early tonight. And it was just, so your life gets sucked away from you. And mentally, holy shit, like, I was in deep, and I did hit rock bottom with my alcohol consumption. And it was bizarre that I couldn't even believe that I still, to this day, I've forgiven myself for a lot of it. Speaking of mental, something I'm actually working on right now. So I have forgiven myself for a lot of it, but I quit drinking. It will be 8 years ago, coming up in 2023. 23, is that the year?
I don't even know.
2020 did it 22. To us, right? But so in 2023, so I will be, I like couldn't even remember how many years. And I told my sister, I was like, oh my gosh, do you remember when we were like, soon we won't even know how many years it's been. We won't even talk about it. But I think it's important for others to know. And so I will be going on 8 years of being alcohol free, and my life has changed so much. And it's not like I'm not even I don't think I'm a different person because of it. I know more, and I've experienced a lot that I think it definitely has changed me a little bit, but I was able to get back to that person I used to be, who was so, emotional about chasing their dreams and like, fuck everything. I'm going to just go to New York City with 2 bags. I've never even been there before because I got into school, and I'm doing it. And that person was like completely gone. So it was, I go to work, I come home. I had nothing I was doing creative. I wasn't doing, and I was always like, you're so crazy. You're so fun. You're so this, like, and so I associated my personality with alcohol, and that I needed alcohol to be fun and crazy and cool. And then I started using it to numb how my thoughts were and what I was thinking. And I was like, I need alcohol to make it okay that I act how I do.
Right.
And so it really, I had my first son, and I didn't drink during pregnancy. I thank God had it in me to stop but it was hard for me to stop. It was like a reason where I was like, I don't know, we want to have kids, but then I can't drink for 10 months. Right. And then after that, I'm like, how stupid now looking back. I'm just like, I can't even fucking believe that was something that was making me nervous to have children. So I did quit, and I started though drinking again after I was done nursing. And I had tried to quit before I had children. I knew I was having issues. I actually had physical, like, go to the hospital issues. And I then, had talked myself into, well, I quit during pregnancy and I quit during all nursing. I wasn't doing that. So, I mean, I'm probably fine now. I have a kid. Like, how crazy am I going to get? So yeah, one night of 2 drinks turned into the next night of more, and suddenly I'm back on it, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a kid, and I'm telling my husband I need help. I don't know how to come down from this. What the hell has happened? How did this happen so fast? And that's what they say. People, who have had a problem before, it just happens like that. So I was terrified. I was embarrassed. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know. I know I needed help bad. I just couldn't believe that I was a mom acting this way. And I still, to this day, I can't believe it, but I understand it enough that I for real have big sympathy for people dealing with addiction, because I literally could not control myself. And I wasn't even doing it to be drunk. I was doing it to feel normal and to not be, feeling sick. And so anyway, I got help, and I knew, and I remember my dad, he looked me in the eye and he was like, because they were all helping me, and I did have good support systems through my family and my husband. Like, shout out to my husband, because I was lucky that he didn't just up and, peace out, I'm taking our kid and leaving. And whenever I say this story out loud, I honestly just can't even believe this. I'm talking about myself, right? Because it's so scary, it's so I'm not embarrassed of it anymore, because I want to help other people, but I just hope it makes people realize that's what alcohol can do to you. It literally can make you act like someone that you don't even recognize. And people will be like, oh, well, the real you is in there somewhere. And I'm like, no, the real me, alcohol was covering up the real me, who was screaming to get help, but just couldn't figure it out. So I finally, my daddy's like, are you done? Are you sure you're not going to go? We're going to, go for the day, let you rest. Are you sure you're not just going to go buy something? And that moment I was like, no, I knew, I knew. And I never, every time before I was like, yeah, I'm done. I knew I was going to make it a few months and then start drinking again.
Yeah. And so up on 8 years.
I was like, I have to be done. Yeah. So I've been done since that day. And my whole life has changed for the better. I would say I've never met a single fucking person that goes, I just really miss the days when I was completely addicted to alcohol and it was controlling my life. No, you never hear someone say that. So yeah, I had to tell a little bit of that backstory.
For sure.
Because people literally don't believe me when I tell them I had a problem with alcohol. I have people still, are you sure you're not going to drink again? You're not going to drink. You're never going to drink again. And even friends that have known me a long time. So you really are done. Don't you think that you could probably start drinking again? I mean, it's insane. Nobody would say this to you if you had a problem with heroin or cocaine. Don't you think maybe you're going to shoot up again sometime? Yep. So it's just bizarre to me, this life we live in. And I dealt with mental health then with alcohol. So that's what I'm trying to get to, going the long way around.
Cool. I love it.
Then I got to realizing what was creating all of my problems, and it was alcohol. And I had other problems in life, but alcohol made it all worse. And then I quit drinking. And so I was very stressed out. I had a son, and then I had twin sons when my oldest was 2. So I had done the first feature film just a few months after I quit drinking, and R.W. Perkins was literally like, are you sure this is okay for you? Because you are drinking in this, film. And I wasn't actually drinking, but some people can get triggered easily. And I was like, no, hell no, I got to do this. And it's a very small part, Minnie Edwards. It's a very funny little part, and in a very serious film that R.W. Perkins wrote. So I played that part, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't performed and done this for so many years, because of alcohol. And because, so really I was like, oh, this is what I need. So I had my twins, and then we shot Small Town Remedies when
A
they
lot
were
during
free.
COVID.
When they were
too.
free, right before COVID.
Yeah.
So like literally we just made it in. And so I had Eli, who was 5, and then my twins, who are 3, just about 3, and we just had moved into a new house. And I was really like, oh fuck, and nothing was bugging me with playing the alcoholic daughter, mom, daughter. It wasn't that. I was just like, oh my God, am I going to be able to memorize, like, am I going to be able to do this? I have little kids, like all this. And, so I just was like, yeah, you have to do this for your mental health.
Mm.
So I did things like when the twins were little funny. I had tuna with a turtleneck, which stood for twat. So that was at my Instagram account, my twat account. And I actually, after doing so many commercials, I had a lady come up to me and she was like, "Are you?" And she was looking at me all weird. And I thought she was gonna say like, "Are you from Woodley's commercials, or what are you from?" And she's like, "Are you tuna with a turtleneck?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So that handle got far, but I pretty much it was like my insanity. I kept sane doing these little creative things. But now, as of just over the last 2 years, I have gone full blown and researched and studied. And I've also been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. So I've been in and out of feeling very sick. But I have narrowed it all down to my life. And I was told that I live life as if there is a bear literally chasing me at every second of every day. So I needed to figure out a fucking way to get myself under control mentally. I don't consider myself a extremely stressed out person. I'm not anxious. I do get anxious, but not like I did when I drank. And so I had to figure out, how can I get a hold of myself and really find out who I am again. I've been through alcohol addiction. I've been through, college. I've been through getting married, having children, working retail, like losing myself, finding myself. I'm a mom, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, I never really, in my adult life, since I was, late 20s, actually was just like thinking about myself and my mental health. Because I never really thought I needed to.
Yeah.
So
wow. I relate to you in so many ways. I can't even tell you. It's the getting sober part, the waking up, the realizing, it is, for me, it was a moment as well where you just know, it's going the way that you want it to go. This is probably not going to end well. And it's kind of a blip that happens that says, you've got something you need to correct here, and at least put your hand out, right?
Yeah.
And so absolutely 1000% hats off to you for charging through. And the forgiveness, I wrote down a bunch of notes. The forgiveness factor, I think, bubbled up for me listening, as I know this about you without knowing a lot about you, is that you live out loud. Our story, being an alcoholic, being addicted, living out loud, the concept of lived experience as a teacher, that we go through life feeling like we're not worthy of our story. And, we kind of stand at the edges of it and hustle and do our thing and never really own it, and find the power in it. And I sound like Brene Brown at this point, but the turning point when forgiveness happens on what you realize is the script that that you've completely flipped. And so that the reset is completely up to you. It really is up to you. That's it. Nobody else on this. There's nobody else that needs to be involved in this. It's with you. And some folks never have the opportunity. Maybe some will because they hear you and me, you know, coming together. How did you find, you had your family, you had your husband. How did you find sobriety? Did you quit cold turkey? You just go for it? How'd you do it?
So, yeah, to touch back on that, you're right. We are doing this, and that's why it used to be hard for me to talk about this stuff because it was so embarrassing to me. But then I started helping people with talking about it, and literally have told people that they quit drinking because of me. They have realized they have a problem. They thought they were the only mom. I saved their life. I mean, it's like not like my husband, I've come home and been like, oh my gosh, listen, like, and I'm like, that's why really, and that's why with the film Small Town Remedies, and where I really started feeling comfortable talking about, because people were reaching out to me with their stories and they were being so open. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to help people. And it like clicked, like, oh my gosh, this is how I can help people with my, you know, being creative, with acting, with telling stories. And that is to where I really, you know, it's just my passion. It's not just, it's so much like with what I do with acting, it's just over the years grown into so much more than what people would even, you know, think of, like, oh, I still get the like, oh, you're trying to be famous. And they just don't understand that people who are so passionate about this, it really is the little moments where, you know, people reach out to you after, you know, they've heard you talk after shooting a film. And I'm like, that is literally the only thing that will get me through how hard it is to be in this profession.
Yeah.
And being open, and people want you to be open. They want to know you and they want to observe you and they want to know everything. And it's like, okay, do I want to like let everything out there? But really, once you decide that you're not the only person, or once you realize you're not the only person that is having these issues, it's millions of people, then you're like, well, shit, if I talk about it, this person's gonna be like, oh, that's my life. Like, you know, so once we all start talking about it is really when we're gonna be helping each other. But I don't remember what you asked me.
Well, I asked if you used a program.
When did I decide how did I get sober?
Yeah.
So I tried multiple times. And then the last time when I was like, this has to be it, I did go to therapy. I had to come down slowly because I would get very, very sick, very anxious. I couldn't even not answer the phone. I couldn't see people. I was like a freak. I mean, it was like, I was just like, compared to how I usually am, it was just freaking me out that I was acting this way. So in my life, you know, of knowing what it feels like to go through that, I've helped other people with saying, you will get through it. I did decide, I didn't go to AA. People have asked me, you know, did you go to AA? Did you read books? Did you do this? I went to therapy, and I also learned that alcohol is, if I didn't put alcohol in my body, I wouldn't have been having all of these issues. So really, nothing is wrong with me. This is the way I like to look at it. And I know we touched that in Small Town Remedies. Some people really believe it's a full-blown disease, and that is, you know, it's their disease. My disease is rheumatoid arthritis. I have autoimmune disease, but my disease is not alcoholism with me. And the reason is because now living completely sober for so many years, I don't have any of these issues that alcohol brought. So I just get sick of it. I get sick of that, you know, pinning the people when I'm like, I know a lot of people that, you know, don't drink and they're a different person. My husband, he can like buy beer on Halloween and it's still in our fridge the next summer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I live now. It doesn't bother me. I'm never trying to like, I'm so over it. My life is so much better without it. So in the beginning though, I mean, it was weird. I just knew I was a mom and I just fucking knew that if I didn't quit now, I was going to lose my family, kill somebody, kill myself, you know, not on purpose, but I was like, I was drinking so much that normal people don't survive stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then from there, I really did throw myself into acting and I just got super creative and I started performing again. And I was like, okay, you know, this is what I was missing. And I was filling in moments of being creative and fun and crazy with just sitting on a porch drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost a lot of years, but I learned a lot. And even with my agency, they were like, well, what were you doing between like 2000? And I'm like, and I just straight up was like, I was drinking. I'm like, there's literally no other way for me to explain this. I was working retail and I was drinking. And I, in my mind, was like, I'm not worthy of, you know, having an agency. I'm not worthy of this. I looked like a different person because beer, like I was just so unhealthy, you know, in my physical appearance that I was not happy with myself and how I wanted to be. And just overall, like physical and mentally, you know, my life, has just completely changed. And I think that is what helps people so much, is just hearing someone literally talk about, like, I mean, you know, I was hiding it. I would drink with other people. I wasn't like sit in my closet and drink, but I was like sit in my closet, drink a few drinks before I go hang out with everyone and drink, so they don't know how much I'm drinking.
Right.
And people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, I started hiding it. I can't believe I was doing this. You know, I had someone come up to me the other day and we just started talking about it. And they're like, I didn't know you used to like drink. And other people too, they're like, you know, when you said you don't drink, I was like, that's so cool. I wish I could do that.
Right. I get that too.
People, and so I used to make people like, how do you order? Like, what do you do on girls' night? Aren't you so embarrassed? And, you know, what do you order? And so this really to help people, anyone out there listening. I mean, all these things went through my head. How am I going to hang out with my friends? How am I going to go to the brewery? That's where all my friends go.
Right.
How am I going to order a non-alcoholic beverage? What is everyone going to think of me? What are people going to think when I go to a party and I'm not having a drink? Should I like fake it? Should I hold like a, you know, like what am I going to do? Like on Sunday mornings when we all go out for brunch and everyone's drinking mimosas, what am I going to drink? And it was just like crazy. And so I took all these steps in my life and I made it through the beginning. And then I made it through, you know, my birthday. And then I made it through New Year's. And I made it through Christmas. And then I made it through a whole year of being like, oh, I wish I could have a drink on New Year's, but I don't. Oh, I wish it's Christmas Eve and everyone's drinking, you know, spiked eggnog and I don't get to enjoy it, but I got to enjoy eggnog. And just starting to see my physical change and my mental change and my friendship and my relationship with my husband and my son, and then my sons, and then my sister, my older sister, which she became sober before I did. And she and I were back and forth, like, you know, you have a problem, you have a problem, you have a problem. We used to drink and party and everything. And so I had her to help me through the first year of, you know, we're sober together. We are the sober sisters. And it's my sister, Jacqueline, who's an artist. And we are both like super creative and out there. And oh my gosh, we used to think like, let's drink and talk crazy.
Yes.
And now we're like, we don't drink, we just talk crazy. And we act on it. And we're making changes in our lives and we're into our 40s and we are still fucking going. And we get people all the time like, what, how, like, you look good for that. Why is your, you know, and I'm like, I don't drink alcohol. I mean, what lotion do you use? I don't drink. I mean, really, I do think like it does help a lot just by, you know, how you just feel about yourself.
There's
I'm going
not
all
a
over the
cell
place,
in your,
but
there's not a
it's
cell in anybody's beautiful body that wants that alcohol. It just doesn't.
no, it's like my it was just always like my face was just like always let me end this.
You're okay.
Hopefully I don't hang up on you. It'll go away in a second, I think. Here, I don't know who that is. But
yeah, I liken it to feeling like you're you're pushing against your skin from the outside.
yeah.
Right. And yeah, just not very glamorous at the end of the.
Yeah. And so I guess, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is just like everything, once you get there and you make that decision to quit, that's not the only decision you're making is like, I have to quit. I have to quit. You are making a decision to make your life better. You're making a decision to make your relationships better. You're making a decision to make your mental health better. You're making a decision to feel better about yourself, to look better. You're making a decision to cut your fingernails and comb your hair and brush your teeth at night. You're making a decision not to wake up in bed smelling like alcohol, half naked, not remembering what happened the night before. And, it's like,
yeah.
Because I think so many people, they just think like, oh, I have to quit. And it's that one little word of, but you're actually you are not just quitting something, you are gaining literally everything else back in your life that in my one quote, I say that you forgot you were missing because you forget how normal and beautiful life can be when you're not every second looking, when does the liquor store open? It's 7:30. I'm like feeling like anxious and it's Saturday and it sucks. And I just want people to know out there that like it's scary and it sucks and it's really hard to picture your life any different because you just become immune to that being your life. But you can. And I tell people, I'm like, I'm not trying to one up your drinking habits, but I do need people to know that the amount of alcohol that I was drinking and I did hit rock bottom. So if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You don't have to fucking hit rock bottom. And it doesn't have to be, do I have a, problem? You can literally just make a decision to say, I am pretty much drinking wine every night at 5 and I'm sick of it and I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then just see what happens in your life.
Yeah.
So it's scary when you make that final, decision to quit because our society makes drinking a normal part of life.
It makes it a huge.
Like it's what we do as humans. I mean, and now it's even the mommy like that. I'm like, thank goodness I quit before that because I would have been dead.
Yeah.
I saw these moms out sharing in plastic wine glasses when my twins were probably like 2. So I was done drinking and then you're just seeing these things like, oh my gosh, and these moms are out at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday sitting at a park sharing a bottle of wine in plastic wine glasses. And I'm just like, man, and I'm not like, I don't want to be mean to them or judge them. Our society literally makes that like, these are your travel wine, mommy.
And they make memes and they make plastic cups. Yep.
So it makes you think it's okay. And I think so a lot of people down deep know it's probably not okay. But when the rest of the world is doing it, hell, it's like, let's do it too. I mean, I had a lot of fun times drinking. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of fun moments.
Right.
But none of that outdoes all the fun and the life of feeling free that I am living now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just can't even and like talk about it enough. Just, how life changes when you really do stop. And then and I think you don't even think about it anymore. It's bizarre.
Right. Yeah. I don't recall the time when the day, of course I don't, but like when I stopped thinking about it, it was pretty early on because I think like you, I just, I woke up and had just that realization that no, this is gonna end in a massive train wreck and somebody's gonna get hurt.
Mhm.
I think the big wake up call was just how much of a numbing agent I had been applying to myself for so long, that to deal with any kind of anxiety, I used alcohol to tamper some pretty, what I know now is empath tendencies and highly sensitive. Well, give me a glass of wine, especially red wine, so I can just bring it all down, and take my
Mhm.
anxiety. At the same
Mhm.
time, I'm waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks that put me in the
Oh.
hospital, right? Because of my high blood pressure and all the things I've got going on. But the realization where no, you don't have to hit rock bottom. Where am I going with this? The trudge through society and the doubting of where alcohol fits into your life, making excuses for where it fits, where we know down deep in our gut, it changes us.
Mhm.
We, I think where I've really hunkered down is this is the first time where I've been as clean and clear, where there's no there's no, I get to make these decisions. I get to make these choices.
Yeah.
This is real, and I get to re-engage. I'm giving myself another chance at this and not going to screw this one up, right?
Mhm.
Still fucking it up left and right, but forgiving myself because at least I can remember and apologize quickly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I
I
love,
know it's true though, and it's amazing where I feel like things that, in the past years that I do have moments of going, oh my gosh, if I've been drinking during this situation,
shit show.
oh man, it would have sucked. Like, because I've been through some really stressful things, and I just am so happy that instead of, drinking through it, I just process it. I feel the emotion. I do whatever, comes from it. And then I just am like feeling pretty much better by the next day or a
Yeah.
few days after that. And it's amazing where like certain situations would go in the past when I was drinking during dealing with big situations in life. It was not good. I mean,
Drama.
yeah, it's like so much drama. And I mean, my husband and I, we have our fair share of like disagreements or whatever. I mean, we've been married for almost 15 years. We raise children, we deal with finances, but at the same time, I mean, holy crap, like we just don't or if we have a little bit of a, well, you did this and it's gone the next
Yeah.
day, or that after, honestly, not even the next day, that like after the argument's over, we're just like, okay, let's move on. And back, like, our arguments just don't even exist anymore, really.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we don't agree on everything, but obviously, but it's just like crazy, those, or even with my sister, or if we've had a moment of, my sister and I had like a very serious, conversation slash argument. In the past, if we both been drinking, we wouldn't even have known what we were even trying to talk about, or any of it. So nothing would have actually been resolved. We would have just still been mad, or we wouldn't have even remembered we did.
And it gets drawn out
And
and it
it
lasts
gets,
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
then you go through the guilt of like, oh my gosh, what did I say? What did I do? And you like, memories will come back of like, oh, I remember talking to so and so last night. I don't even like, I hardly even remember that. Oh my god, what did I say to them? Because I was mad the day before at them, or whatever. Like, and now if I say something to someone, like this interview here with you today, I'm not going to get off of here and be like, I can't believe I told her that much of my story. I'm feeling, because I am sober and I'm talking to you, and it's fine. And I'm making these decisions to say what I am saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, those were like the worst, when you wouldn't remember what happened the night before, or like I would be home and I didn't know how I got home. Yeah, people just don't, they're like, what? Like, so people that don't have a problem, the other people are like,
I know.
oh yeah.
No, yeah. I know I've gotten that in my life. Like, you always seem like you always had it under so much control. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, y'all. I was a hot
Yeah.
mess. And my nickname's Happy Hour. And you saw me with a great big ball, the big ball jar with vodka and water. That was me. And I was the older mom, because I had my kiddo later. Um, so all the youngsters, I was the party starter, like, I was the one starting that 11 o'clock brigade of strollers. Like, let's get this party started. I'm the
Yeah.
elder here. I can take, you'll be
Yeah.
fine. You'll be fine. I've been doing this for years. You'll be fine. Um, the I wanted to briefly touch on just I want everybody to see Small Town Remedies. I was sharing with you before we started recording that I have that it touches me personally, just the story of it. And I wanted to just ask you, I know you've answered the question a zillion times, but what was it like playing Lita? It's a hard story to watch. For some folks, it's a hopeful story, no matter. Um, but talk to me about just the movie and kind of the short trailer of it, and what it's like to play someone in it's a powerful role of addiction, and being the daughter of an addict and being in a codependent relationship with an addict brother. And like, there's so many different dynamics in this film. I just wanted to think out loud with you a few minutes about what it was like to play Lita, and how you went into character, and what that was like.
Yeah. So we, when Randy first started talking about Small Town Remedies with me, and he was like, okay, so this is about a mom who has it, going through relapse, and then it turned into, now it's more about Lita, your character, if you're gonna be playing this character. And then it turned into, Lita is just a rat, she's a total bitch, pretty much, like no one's gonna like her at the end of the movie. And then you'll be perfect for it. And I was like, fuck yeah. And
Sign me up.
yeah, sign me up. So it was like I've said before, I don't have issues where I'm filming this film of a woman who uses alcohol and opioids, and that it was going to trigger me in any way. I am very lucky. Somehow I made the decision to be done. And so with this film, because I had people asking me, like, weren't you like triggered to drink for real or anything? Like, because you have of your past. So anyway, Lita is a very different person than I am, but very similar. So it was interesting getting into her mindset. I never had used opioids. I never helped my mom through relapse. There's a lot of things within the story that I did so much research on, opioid use and all of that to bring into it. I went from past experiences of my own, and then I came up with just things for Lita, and what is she scared of? What does she want? What is, typical things with actors, but also just things like, what is, some people like to dive really deep. What is her favorite, character on a sitcom? Like little things that really can create all this that, you in your life see and do. So beyond just like, this needs to be a messed up lady that has alcohol and drugs and is dealing with a messed up family, you have to be able to find the soul of that person, and really, find who's under all of this. And so that was one thing that I actually had people, reach out after to say it, that I wanted people to see through Lita, even though you could see her on the outside, the very outside of this mom, just like, sleeping around, doing whatever, doing what, has this amazing husband and son, and is just living this life of complete chaos that she has brought on herself. So the whole time I wanted people to, it was hard to, show that through. But I think that once I've figured out that, in my own life, I definitely towards the end was just like, I hope everyone can see who I really am and not just see me for this outside person that I've created for the world to see.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense at all.
I think it
so
does.
I got in that character. I do really fall into it. And it was weird. We shot that film in 8 days in Loveland. And so my mother-in-law helped every day. My husband helped every day so I could do this, but it was bizarre. I mean, there's one very upsetting scene in it. And I came home that night at like 12:30 at night, in the morning, I mean, and I just like, I was like, I can't, because that's my son who's in the film. So I come home from
That's crazy.
from filming, and I was like, this is terrible. Like, not the film, but this is terrible. My son can't be in this film. Because I was like, Lita, and this sounds so crazy, but I was like, I can't have, like, my son cannot be connected to something that is like this. This is so awful. I can't believe I'm acting this way. Like, it was so bizarre, and I kind of came out of it, but I really just stayed in character for the most part, all the days. I hung on to it just enough because I like to just have it right there. I always joke that, like, my head opens and I have these characters and I bring in things from life and I just put it in my head and I keep it there so I can bring it out when I need to use it, and I need to get that emotion across, and I need people to feel it, and they need to see me feel it so they can feel it. So with Lita, I just was like, this lady is going to hopefully change lives. And she's not a character. She is a fucked up mom. And so I had to be as real as I possibly could. I always say, unfortunately, fortunately, if I hadn't dealt with what I had with alcohol, I don't know that I could have done enough. I don't know. I just don't. I think that people can get a sense, and pretty much everyone in their life has someone, a sibling, a child, a mom, a sister, brother, a spouse that's dealt with addiction in some form. So I think that you can't imagine what it would be like. But for me, it really did help with knowing that exact feeling and the scene, without giving too much away. But at the end, it was very easy for me to get there. And even though I was in character, I found that person within me that was like, this could have literally been my life with my 5-year-old. But luckily, he was a newborn when I decided to stop. Mm-hmm. And so just seeing that and being like, this could have been easily my life, but somehow I lucked out and I had the power to not make it my life. And so that, there were days that R.W. Perkins and Andy and half the other cast just saw me like, I was so worn out and I was in this character. And one day it was even a sad line and I just started crying. I was like, okay, I got to pull myself together because I had so much going on,
I think watching it, I think you do it's a fabulous job, and it's
thank you.
Watching it, I think the reason why I related to it so much was knowing what you're saying, that we all start with this core, and we, before we have a chance to know how to protect it, it's, as young folks, we're getting layers upon layers upon layers of, things that are outside of our control, some things that we have control over, but we don't have it's not an educated decision that we make because we're young and whatever the case might be, that by the time, we get to places wrapped up in addiction and the layers that society places on us,
Mm-hmm.
we're just to me, I saw, like, watching your character, it was just sadness. Like, it's just like wanting so badly to be something, but so buried, and underwater, just trying to stay, just stay afloat and keep it all going. Just keep it all going. If I can just keep it all going, I'll be okay, and it's just right here. It's just right nose above water, right?
And just that thinking that, that was definitely that character. And I definitely find that in myself of, I'm not worthy, find anything to numb it out, whether it's alcohol, opioids, cheating on your spouse, like, which
Absolutely.
alcohol definitely leads into that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so just all of it of just numbing, you know, and I'm not worthy. So it doesn't matter if I just sleep with this person or if I drink this or whatever. Like, even though I have a really amazing family, and you don't need a family. You can just, even though I'm a human being and I'm amazing, you know, to just realize that you, how quickly you can just be in that mindset to just like, I don't deserve this. I don't need any of this. None of this
And
is, you know,
deprioritize all of those things that matter to you.
yeah.
And it's not willingly. I don't think I ever willingly put my son at the bottom of my list. I
Yeah.
didn't set out to do that to him, you know,
No.
but it somehow wound up that way. And pulling yourself out. And I think that's too, that I give you massive props for, is that you are modeling, you know, we are modeling for our children how to, because that's not, I found my addiction very young, you know, watching my own parents struggle with their own mental health using alcohol and religion and all kinds of different things to really try and make their life seem perfect, you know, when underneath everything it was a fucking mess, you know. And I don't say that like you're saying. I'm not trying to judge it. I'm not mad. I'm not trying to get rid of it. It is what it is, and I am who I am because of all of it. But I'm not going to repeat that kind of stuff. No.
Yeah.
Not going to repeat it
Yeah.
for my babes.
I read something that said the greatest gift you can give your child is being sober.
Just present.
And it is. I mean, think you grow up and like I was, you know, you're 18, you can buy cigarettes. You're, you know, 16, you can drive. 18, you can buy cigarettes. 21, hell yeah, you get to go out and drink. Here's your drink. Parents, you know, here's your drinks. Aunts, uncles, like friends, like my parents' friends were buying bottles of vodka when I turned 21. And I just remember, you know, so going off of like what life has like layered on you over, you know, from growing old. And, you know, I'm not like definitely can't like blame parents for any of this. I mean, but really you think back to like the 80s, and I mean, people knew that there was like addiction and alcoholism, obviously, but it was not like today. Like there was not, people weren't openly talking to just each other about it. And there was a lot of drinking going on. It was just part of life. You drink beer, you know, you drink wine, and it still is. It still is a normal part of life, but there's been a whole other culture that has really been able to find other people that are like, you don't need alcohol to have fun.
No.
And so many children too that, you know, people have said, well, you're not gonna like tell your kids everything about this, are you? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. I'm giving my kids a chance to say, oh, so you mean in college when I, talking about myself, was able to out chug 3 football players, me against 3 lined up in a row, chug beers and beat all 3 of them. They each chugged 1 beer. I chugged 3 in like under 2 minutes or something crazy. Oh, that means I should have like thought about that. Maybe I have a problem with alcohol and not like, Andrea's so awesome, she can drink so much.
Isn't that
You know,
crazy?
and teach my children that later of what I've learned down the road. And it is stuff like that, that if you can like, if everyone is praising you for the amount of alcohol you can consume, you got to be careful, man, because your body and your mind can't process that. So that just, you know, for me, really, I go off to the physical side of it. But yeah, it's in our life. It is what you do when you go to college. And I think when you turn it into a problem, though, you also think it's more in your life than maybe it is. In terms of later on in life, I found out like, oh, I thought your parents like drank a lot when we all hung out. And I'm realizing that they only have like 1 drink, and they always have. But, you know, like in my mind, I was like, they all drink.
Yeah.
So you know,
That's crazy.
But lots of people that knew me in the past, they're like, we love the new you better. You know, and the people that never even knew me drinking, I do get the like, well, I bet you were so fun. And, you know, it's like, no. And so it's so weird. It's so weird that, you know, those comments that come out of people of, I don't need alcohol to be fun.
No, no. Well, I'm glad I know the sober you,
Yeah.
and and I'm tickled to get to think out loud with you. I hope we've talked about sobriety, which I knew we would, and mental fitness, and ways to keep our noses above water. Um, is there Will you come back and think out loud with me about more as we get to know each other? And I'm coming up with different topics and things to noodle on with people, that I think, well, even in just in the creative space, and inspiring others to find their voice through expression, like the arts and like acting, and finding little passions and little things for the mental fitness of it. And I think not towards the end that Natalie wants to be, as I say, all sunshine all day, every day. That's not the point of all of this. There's going to be shit that hits the fan. There's going to be shit that happens in our lives.
Yeah.
But how do we maintain our sanity enough where it's less of a massive jolt inside of the head kind of bust, that we are completely traumatized by, and something that versus something that we can actually, in a lot of cases, see coming, and or we're in a space where if there's something big coming, we're okay mentally, that we've got the reserves, we've got the tools, we've got the people, we've got our legs are sturdy underneath us, that if something heavy hits, all hell doesn't break loose. It's just oh, whoa, this is big. Let's everybody take a big deep breath and let's figure out how to tackle this, right?
Yeah.
I think recovery time, I and being mentally fit, being able to take a blow and keep on ticking, if you will, is part of what I'm after as well, which I would assume in acting in creative land is something you just get up and keep taking takes. That's what it is. Just take one, take two, take three, take four until you get it, right?
Yeah.
Until you finally get it. To do something in 4 days that's amazing. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, 8 days. Yeah.
8 days.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
That's insanity. And then you go win awards and do your thing and still climb. Are you working on other films? What are we looking for from you?
So I at this moment we have the Woman of the series that's out there in the film festival circuit. And then we do have that, we just did the 5314, which I was just mostly on production. You can see a blur of me in that, but we did that for Julian, his band Fulco Perrin, that we just did. And then I just for the first time in my life got an agent, which, I was working towards, and my children now are all in school, and I work from home. I schedule my own days. I do so many different things. I also, decided like it's just time. And with the help of Diane Bell, I don't know if you follow her at all, but she is just really a good, positive person to listen to and really push you to what, everyone has their dreams, but the reason a lot of people don't reach them is like we were saying, because it's scary, and you're going, well, what if I do get this part in, because I'm going to be represented in Colorado and New Mexico, and looking into getting an agent in LA and New York. And if I want to reach my goal, which is to be working on big productions and meaningful productions, and I just know that there's a spot for me out there, and people that will need me and I'll need them, and we will have something amazing to do together, something big to work on. So I was just like, I have to go. I have to do this. I'll be 70 and I'll be like, why didn't I do that why didn't I do that? Now it's been 30 more years and I'll be getting an agent then. So it's scary because it's like, I just get project after project in Colorado, and I consistently do commercials. We're shooting 2 commercials next week. And so I just, have work, and it's comfortable and it's fine, and I'm here, but I'm like, this isn't fully fulfilling me. And I need to show my kids what it looks like to do this. And so I'm feeling really good about my future. it is weird. Eventually, you know, when we're talking about addiction, I dive into the alcohol and all of that. But really, in my life today, alcohol is not part of it. And I get little moments of like recently when I was in Florida, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't like even wish I was having drinks on the beach with all these people that are, you know, those little type of like, it's never like, oh, I wish I could be drinking. I'm very lucky with that, but it's almost blows my mind how now I am just, you know, people know me that I used to drink or whatever, but a lot of people don't even know that about me. And I'm not hiding it or, you know, obviously, but I just decided to move on, and I forgave myself for a lot of things that happened in those years. And some things I would have a hard time forgiving someone else for doing it. But I had to forgive myself. And I am the Untethered Soul by Michael Allen Singer. This artist just told me, like, you have to listen to this book. But and then also just, you know, people get scared with like law of attraction type of work, or but really there's a lot more in that. I found over the that I've been working on, just not caring so much what other people think. I have this amazing closet of clothing, but oh my gosh, people are gonna be like, why are you wearing that? I don't fucking care anymore. I don't know if it's aging, I don't know what it is, or just feeling good and confident and making my own decisions. But I've just found a place within my own life that I am just expressing myself if I feel like it. And I don't care what people think. And I'm not out there saying, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. I just don't really care anymore. I've wasted too much of my life. And I've found a good place of waking up and, you know, being happy with who I am and what I'm doing and the decisions I'm making, and feeling proud of myself and proud of my family. And yeah, I think that mentally, that book too, I mean, I was laying in the ocean, I'm like, what is going on? Like, you feel like you're on something, because it's hard to even like think about some of the stuff in there. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned listening to it is letting things just, you can feel them. It's not like pushing them away. You have to let them go through your body. And now, because I do like to joke a lot, which I haven't been doing today, but like, I keep going, I'm opening my heart valve, because it's literally the like, open your valve. It's like a valve. So you let all these things and you hold on to these things, like you know, that voice in your head, you used to do this and you did that, and why aren't you doing this, and you need to get your hair cut, your eyelids are getting baggy, might have had lipstick on your teeth and you're talking to that person, you didn't put on deodorant today, your thighs have cellulite, your second toe is bigger than the first, like all these little things that, you know, like, and a lot of the things I just threw out there are things that I, you know, up until a few years ago, just constantly am like doing to myself. And this book is like, would you want someone to stand next to you? I'm like, is it that book, or is it it's that book? I'm like, is it the law of attraction stuff? But it's like, would you want someone, if like you today were saying all that stuff to me, and you're like, you know, I would be like, I can't do this interview with you. Like, that was really rude. So we're doing that to our fucking selves constantly, and it never shuts up. And so this book, it helps you learn how to live a life without it. And it used to be the alcohol stuff. You're disgusting. I can't believe you're like drinking this much. Look at yourself. I mean, I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you suck. I would say it out loud. I'd be like, you are terrible. And I hated myself because of the choices I was making. I didn't hate myself, but I hated myself because I was doing that. And now it feels weird, but over the last few years, it's become normal. You are amazing. You deserve this. You work hard. You deserve to have a life you want. You are a good person. You do make mistakes. Not everything is going to be the way you plan it, you know, and just talking to myself in normal. And so this book just now has added into all of this, and really letting yourself just know, like, my name is Andrea, that's my label, and this goes over it, that's your label. Who am I? That's my timeline. Who am I? That's my soul and my body. And that person is separate from the voice, or that, not even, actually they don't even call it human. but it's separate than the voice that is constantly in your mind, telling your soul and your body all of these things. And so I've just lately been trying to just let it out, and literally like things that make me physically ill, which is why I honestly believe I have autoimmune disorder, because I would get physically ill over things. And up until just about a year or two ago, of just with work, and like, I can't believe they emailed this and they're doing this. And I can't even like call them back. And like, you know, just little things that everyone has. Learning how to let things go and just, oh, that didn't work out, or they got mad at this, and figure out what I'm going to do, not pushing it away, feeling it, and then letting it go through my body and making sure it doesn't get stuck. And literally my husband, he believes in all this, and he's listening, and he wants to like work on some of these things too, but he laughs because I'll always be like, opening my heart valve, and this is what's nuts. So it says like when things show up where it's like, his example is that car. Oh my gosh, that car reminds me, you know, your little like voice, like that car reminds me of my ex-boyfriend I had in college who cheated on me. And that night that he like, oh my gosh. And you just like, yeah, you get so mad again. And it's like, that happened fucking 20 years ago or something, you know? So recently something like that came up, and it wasn't something that made me so super mad, but it was like, that made me like, that was so annoying when that happened. And then I looked at my husband, I was like, oh, this is what he's talking about. Okay, so this feeling was like locked inside my body. And it just came out for whatever reason. Something triggered this emotion, this memory in me. And now I'm just going to let it go. And I can't even, and this is what's so funny about it, is I can't even remember what it was. So I was like, it worked. But, and it's like with good things too, like good emotions and stuff that you have, and just letting your body be free and open and willing to listen and learn. And the world that we live in, you know, you can make it what you want. And there's terrible things happening, and there's amazing things happening, and we are caught in this loop of it all, and it's going to keep going around, and we have to watch what we are watching. I want to know what's going on. But I do find when I give myself a break, and I don't know, they're dealing with this, they have cancer, their dad died, they were in a car accident, 7 people burned alive, this, my mind, it cannot handle all of it. And so I do think that it is very important for people to just step back and take a moment. And I do weird shit. Like I stand outside with like this weird clay manure stuff all over my body. My kids are just like, but I do. And it grounds you, and feel the earth and ground yourself and feel who you are, not who society is telling you to be, not, who you think you are. Who are you? Who really are you? And it's amazing. And you really, I told my sister yesterday, I'm like, it's almost like when I was little and I'd lay in bed and be like, what if there was never anything? What if there was nothing ever? There was nothing. And I was like, oh, I can't even think that far. Like it would be the weird, do you know what I mean? Like I just be like, oh, this book is doing that to me. It is like, it's getting rid of those, what's it called? Like the little grooves in my mind. And it's like, gelling. It just feels good. And people will look at you crazy. And I love being crazy. People will question things or what, but I tell people, I literally feel like I am just kind of like bouncing through life and gliding, and things are still happening to me. I'm still feeling things. It's not like I'm just like, I just am, aloof to everything going on. I'm just finding ways to deal with it. And it's not to say that I don't still get like, oh, and I'm like, oh, and I remind myself and I breathe. And I just think, is this going to still bother me next week? Or what do I want this to ruin the rest of my day? What can I do to change it? Or even little things of like, you see something like, why did they cast them in that? Like it's just like, and now in my mind, I just don't, it's weird when you become okay with who you are and you believe and you love and you trust yourself. you just feel even more happy for everyone around you.
Yeah.
It's just the most bizarre, like, transformation. And it's funny because you reached out about that. And I really am in the middle of just taking it to a whole other, like, crazy level of, yeah. I'm also, I'm working on a series with, Will Roberts. He's in LA. He's done a lot of big movies, and he and I started this little with, like, I'm his, like, shitty therapist, and it's called Batshit. And he calls me, and then he keeps wanting to come back, and I'm like, not helping him. I'm almost rude, and we're actually in our own way making fun of some, like, mental health issues, but we want to do it in a way that people maybe struggling with them see it and laugh and are like, oh my gosh, okay. And we're hopefully, I was like, I need to get in touch with them this fall. But the way we were doing it is like, how can we deal with this in a comical way to make people laugh, but see that, you know what? I think pretty much if everyone talked about it, we all have mental health issues.
Yes, we do. Yes.
But are they all issues? I don't know. Maybe most people out there are just hiding their creative side.
And you're talking about access, like, it's just, for me, it's an access to a conversation. We have as humans this insane ability to actually speak it, like other animals on the planet communicate. We have the ability to actually dive in and talk, and which is where my brain starts going, like to that point of, like, what's beyond space, and man, what could we solve if we actually put our fucking minds to things and get out of our own way and quit layering upon, by choice, layering upon shit, and partaking in stupid shit. Come on, guys. Like, really, and I think for me, sometimes I flirt with that feeling of feeling judgy. I try so hard not to judge other people who are struggling with addiction. It's less about a judgment and more about wanting to just, I would love to know you without, you can just see people through it. You can see people through it. And I adore folks no matter what, what they choose for themselves. For me, the choice of alcohol, just it's not something that I can do, and it's not something that it is something that in quitting I can show, like you're saying, set an example for those around me and show that by example, life happens and we roll, right? And yeah, I'm still the same person, and I'm just not as excitable as I was because I remember what I did yesterday, and today doesn't line up with that. So I can make an educated choice to say no thank you, and I've just avoided 3 days of drama because I remember what I did yesterday to be able to answer you clearly, and the answer is no, right? Or whatever the case might be. So, and then the other thing, I hear so loud and clear. I came across a book recently too that kind of flipped a lot of the way I was thinking, called Positive Intelligence. And it's the concept that every single one of us has a judge, and she, in my case, is a complete and total asshole. I call her fucker, and she's loud, and she pipes up. Since I've named her, I got this. Like, I don't need your judgment. I don't need, and it's the same as what you're saying. It's a separate entity. And she has multiple accomplices, sidekicks that she likes to kick into gear, like the pleaser, the stickler, the hyper rational, the hyper vigilant, where if I come up a notch and I'm not drunk, but I'm acting drunk, I like to say, I start to get hyper. Hey, we got to go. Are you freaking kidding me that you're not ready yet? Your hair looks like shit. I'm not going to see it. Like, I'm going to be all the stuff that starts going, right. that if we can access the conversation with others to help that conversation inside of our heads make sense, I think that's what this is all about. Thinking out loud, access points to conversation around mental fitness. If you and I talking gives one person a conversation to listen to, that gives them an access point to speak up and say, you know what, I think I'm going to try not drinking for a little while. Yeah, I'll try it. You know, then you and I have done our jobs, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I do think people too, like, you know, or like suffer with anxiety, and then alcohol just makes it a million times worse. I have had people, they're like, I didn't even think that could be causing it, and then they quit and they're like, oh my gosh,
so much.
And then just with the mental health and what I'm, you know, and I'm still not perfect with my children, but I have felt a huge shift in our home of just, you know, getting them ready for school. Maybe it's because they're getting older, or I have more time to like work on things that I want to work on. But really though, just dropping that, if I'm always like, come on, hurry, we gotta go. And I kind of used to joke that it's like, starts off like, okay, kids, it's time to get ready for school. And then I was like, okay, guys, it's time to get ready for school. Yep. Okay, kids, get ready for school. Right. We have to go. Now we're going to be late. What are you guys doing? And it's like constantly pushing that environment on younger people. They'll be older, and then they're going to be dealing with this constant fight or flight. And so they just have it in them. That's how they dealt with it, because, you know, and you might not even realize that you are putting this in your children, but you're like, oh, they'll be fine. We're all human and whatever. But all that stuff really matters. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I don't still get upset, you know, with my kids. We got to go. Like sometimes you got to go, you know, but I am finding ways though to realize when, oh, you're getting like a little bit too worked up about this. Let's bring it down.
And being able
even to just as a woman, feeling like your cycle and like how that goes with my mental health and my body and all of it. When I was drinking, I just put it all on alcohol. Like, I don't feel good today because I have this. And then I give it, well, I don't feel good because I have my period or whatever. Like, you know, but even that shift in my life of being aware of that and be like, oh, this is coming. And I'm going to try to do things today that are calm and easy, because I know I'm going to be very easily irritated, you know, and just things like that I never used to have control over.
Being responsible for yourself.
Yeah, you know, and just being responsible. But
You're on mute, babe. You're on mute. Where'd you go?
There we go.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, you're cool. Now you're gone again.
Oh no.
There you are. Yes, and being able, knowing that you're going into, I totally agree. Knowing that you're going into even days in advance, if you've got something coming up the docket that you can actually prepare yourself for and not walk into it blind and freaking out and nervous and unprepared, because you have multiple days to prepare for it. You can listen to Zen music, you can write an outline, you could do a vision board, you could do all kinds of things to prepare for things. When you have time, you used to attribute to trying to stay sober, you now have time to prepare for life, right? So
yeah.
Well, thank you for taking time to think out loud with me, and thank you for being real and letting me meet you, and letting me in on your brain, and really just helping me create a space, participating in my space, that folks can listen in on. My intention, as I told you when we first met, for this chat cast, is to really empower others to think out loud and ask questions, even the questions that sound stupid and giddy because they're nervous or, you know, whatever, that mean, you know, that we all have a chance at a softer landing, you know, and that we're all in this together. So I appreciate you. Your magic is creativity to a degree that just fascinates me. And you have a fan in me. Your ability to express through characters is pretty tremendous. And I hope folks will find you. Your IG handle is just your full name, Andrea Dratch, right?
Yep.
That's your IG. And then andreadratch.com is your full website.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we leave folks with?
Yeah, it's been so great. Thank you for having me. This has been really a nice conversation, and yes, very real. I mean, we're lucky that we found each other and that we can talk, and hopefully there's someone out there that, whether it's them or someone they love, dealing with, you know, it doesn't need to be alcohol, it can be any sort of addiction, that they can just know they're not alone. And I know I say that and everyone's like, cheesy, but it's not. It's, you feel very alone. You feel like there's no end. You don't, maybe something has happened legally. Maybe, you know, you are just feeling like this, there's no way out of this. This is it. This is so embarrassing. No one's gonna, you know, believe me. No one's gonna care about me. No one's gonna, I don't, you know, wherever you are, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're dealing with, there truly is
a
better place. You're worth it. There's something else for you. You need to just keep believing in yourself. Find what it is in life that makes you excited. That's not a substance. And we all have something in us. We know, we like find that little kid in you and be like, what did they, you know, just really look at yourself in the mirror and love yourself. And you have to love yourself. You have to forgive yourself. And because really, I mean, no matter what is happening in your life, you have the ability, you do, to change it. And it's not up to anyone else, and no one else is going to do it for you until you want to change your life. You have to be the one pushing you to do it. And I know that because I had many moments of, I knew people wanted me to change my life, and I didn't, you know, I thought I wanted to, I knew I needed to, but I wasn't ready to. And so until you're ready to, just be honest with yourself and reach out, and really you will find people that it's happened to, and people you wouldn't even know. And that happens to me a lot. And they tell me things that I tell them, don't leave here and wish you didn't tell me this. You told me this for a reason. And it's because I could tell you my story. Yep. And it's so that you know that I'm not judging you, and that you can now move forward. You know, you can do this. And it does. It gets super cheesy, but it's the way it has to be.
The cheese has to happen.
You know, it's got to happen, because you can change your life. And the whole like one day at a time thing, it's fucking right.
It's pretty true.
It is. And then suddenly you look back, you're like, holy shit, that one day of my life was like how many years ago? Yep. And it goes for anything. It's not just quitting something. Yep. It's doing something new. You know, anything you want to do, it's one day at a time, and focus on that moment, and you are capable of great things.
Yep. I heard a couple days ago.
Having me.
Complex. We have to go through the complex. Everything starts out complex. And once we get through the complex, it's simple. But you've got to come over this complex, right? For the simple, you have to get through the routine, the rearranging, the new this, that, or the other. So I'm really glad that our paths crossed. I'm glad that I geeked out over you and decided to keep stalking you weirdly, commenting on your IGs and saying, I'm going to meet you someday, I swear. So no, I really do appreciate you accepting my invitation. I hope you'll come back and think out loud with me.
Yes.
I
know we should touch base on like they say sometimes, it's been said, I should say, that actors are some of the healthiest people mentally, because they put themselves through so many different emotions in life and then they learn how to deal with it, and they learn how to listen and be. And I find that like, I just found that very funny and interesting, because a lot of people tease me that I am a woman of multiple personalities. Yes. And they're like, what is it like to have a mom with multiple personalities? My kids. And, I just like to feel it all. And I do think that would be fun, to go into that more, the life of being in acting. And just, I had a day where I was taking a shower and I was like, wait, I've been so many characters, and I've missed out on a lot of my own life being someone else.
I can't even imagine.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, wait, what's so wrong with my life that I want to be other people? But, I would say, people say, how do you get there? How do you cry? That's one I get a lot. How do you cry? And I go, well, when people write like something really bad has happened to someone else, and they write, how I can't imagine what it would feel like to lose a mother. I am so sorry. People write, I can't imagine what it would feel like to lose a child. I can't imagine what it'd be like to lose a husband. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And so I was thinking about that this other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, the I can't imagine is people's way of saying they can't imagine. And all actors do is put that imagining what it's like, or they take from parts of their body and they put it into that character. Because literally when we say we can't imagine, we can, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to actually go to that moment of believing it happened. And so, like, in Small Town Remedies, I could imagine what it would feel like, the end scene. I could imagine what that would have felt like in my own life. And then I put it, and it was in my character, and it happened to her. So it's so fascinating. Like, when I even really think about like why I do this, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? But nothing is. It's my running, it's my reading, I need to do this to be sane. I really do.
I'm so glad that you are. I do.
I love it.
And
Thank
that's
you
cool.
so much.
I like that concept. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. And yes, they can, but it's about bringing imagination to life so that they can deal with it, consume it. And that's that's cool to think about. Yeah. Because it's Rolodex, right? People are like, I can't imagine, they go through, media experiences, they come across a situation and they speak, and it's based on what I've been through, I can't imagine. Based on what they have been through, they probably can, like you're saying. And it's just scary. It's really
scary. And it's like, once you become a parent, I was like,
nobody told. That's a whole different ball of wax.
And it is. And it's like, and it's crazy because, I mean, how many times do you unwillingly, you're like, I don't want to be thinking about that. But like, oh my gosh, what would happen if something happened to my child? What would happen if something happened to my child? What would happen if they got hit by a car? What would happen if someone took them? What would happen? I mean, just constant of like, because that is my biggest fear in life, is that. But I have even found ways to deal with the fear of something happening, and realizing if you sit and worry about it, then if something happens, you're going to be worrying twice, and you just have to even that, take it day by day. But so it's like, in the end, when people say, I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child, I'm like, if you're a parent, I'm sure you have full blown imagined what would happen to you, and it's not good. But for actors and for other people, that do so much mental health work, you find a way that, and I have a really good friend that her sister died when her sister was 16, and I grew up knowing their family really well. I mean, I called them my other mom and dad and was with them, and I just have always looked at them because they're incredible people, and been like, I will be, if something ever happens that bad in my life, that big of a tragedy, they are okay. And somehow we will be okay, and we can go through it. But living your life being scared of everything that can happen to you isn't living your life. And so, that's a whole other ball game that I'm working on too. It's hard. Life is, I was like, we're all walking around like, we're buying groceries. Like, do we all realize we're just on this fucking planet? Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on, you guys?
Holding up cucumbers, holding up peppers.
I always say, I always think of us as little ants, like, all the time. And my dad, he teases me about it, my mom, because we're always little ants. And I'm like, I especially love it, like, we're all going to a concert, we're like eating out, or like we're all like trying to get our kids from school, and we're all over there, and like we get in that mood at our house, move all of our shit around, like, oh, look at this room now, I'm gonna move it all, like it's just such a brilliant way to look at it, and really, like, you know, just everyone breathe, calm down, everyone's going through something, life is fucking crazy.
It is.
And just for real, be nice to each other. That's another cheesy thing, but like, I mean, we're all here. We're all worthy of everything. And there's enough for all of us to achieve, you know, enough for all of us. And be creative. Be creative, because we are creative. We are humans are creative beings.
Amazing.
And if you're not being creative, then you won't get to feel how wonderful that feels to be creative and be like, okay, you know, this is good, this is awesome. So yeah. But anyway, awesome. All right, we could go on and
Thank
on.
You. Say no, I know. I'm like, okay, we will go on, and I will see you again. We'll patch out for now, but thank you for spending time with me, and just sharing space with me. And if like I said, come back, and I'm sure that folks will hunt you down after this, and I'll keep folks posted on what you're up to. So
yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have hopefully some fun things coming up this fall. So I'm going to be doing tons of auditions, which I'm excited about.
Cool.
And yeah, the ones facing your fears and going for your dreams, you won't reach them unless you face your fears, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's not the rejections I'm scared about, because there's going to be millions, but it's the job you get. It's like, can you be out here? You're like, wait, I'm a mom, but you know what?
I can't wait.
Moms can do it all. We're magic.
Knowing that you're up against it and you're pushing, that's cool. I'm cheering you on loud and clear.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun journey that I'm on, and I'm enjoying every day of it. It's great.
Thanks for sharing some of it with me.
Yeah, thank you.